Take a deep breath and let the weight of the day begin to dissolve. As you settle into this space of stillness, I invite you to join our journey through the stars by subscribing to the channel. Your presence here helps our quiet community grow, ensuring these cosmic stories continue to reach those seeking a moment of peace. Now, let the world around you fade into a soft blur as we begin. Imagine, if you will, a state of existence where the familiar boundaries of your life, the walls of your room, the air you breathe, the very ground beneath you, simply do not exist. We are drifting away from the noise of the modern world, moving past the atmosphere, beyond the silver glow of the moon, and into the velvet embrace of the deep cosmos. This is not a place of emptiness, but a place of profound, ancient cradling. In the silence of the great beyond, the laws of physics behave like a gentle lullaby. We often think of the universe as a cold, chaotic void, but tonight, we will see it differently. We will see it as a luminous tapestry, woven with threads of light that have been traveling for billions of years just to meet your gaze. Every star you see is a distant sun, a flickering candle in the dark, reminding us that even in the vastest reaches of space, there is warmth to be found. As we drift further, feel your breathing synchronize with the slow, rhythmic pulse of the universe. There is no rush here. There are no deadlines, no expectations, and no shadows of worry. Here, you are a part of the stardust, a conscious piece of the mystery, looking back at itself. We are embarking on a voyage to the very edges of what is known, exploring the facts of cosmology, not as cold data, but as comforting truths that remind us of our place in this beautiful, infinite design. Let your mind float like a leaf on a still cosmic ocean. We are moving toward the first light, the earliest whispers of creation, where the universe was a warm, radiant glow. It is a journey into the heart of peace. Close your eyes, let go of the shore, and let the gentle currents of the cosmos carry you toward a deep and restorative rest. The stars are waiting for you. Chapter 1. The Radiant Beginning. Close your eyes now and let your mind travel back, far beyond the reach of human memory, far beyond the formation of our gentle blue planet, to a time when the universe was not a dark, cold void, but a brilliant, searing ocean of pure light. In these earliest moments of existence, the cosmos was a place of unimaginable intensity, yet there is a profound, rhythmic peace to be found in visualizing its radiant birth. Imagine yourself floating in a sea of gold. There are no stars yet, no planets to cast shadows, and no empty space to separate one thing from another. Instead, the entire universe is packed so tightly with energy that light itself cannot travel in a straight line. It is a thick, luminous fog, a plasma of primordial fire that hums with the very first vibrations of reality. This was the era of radiation dominance, a period where the sheer pressure of light dictated the expansion of everything that would ever be. In our modern world, we think of light as something weightless, something that illuminates objects but has no substance of its own. But in the radiant beginning, light was heavy. Photons, the tiny particles of light, were so numerous and so energetic that they behaved like a physical fluid. They pushed against the forming matter, creating vast, slow-moving waves in the cosmic sea. If you could reach out and touch the fabric of space at this moment, it would feel warm, dense, and alive, with a constant, low-frequency thrumming the heartbeat of the infant cosmos. As we drift through this golden haze, consider the immense patience of the universe. For hundreds of thousands of years, this glow persisted. It was a time of perfect equilibrium, where every particle was in constant communication with every other particle through the medium of light. There was no isolation, there was no distance. Everything was part of a single, unified brilliance. This is the ultimate origin of the connection we feel to the stars today. We are the descendants of that light, the cooled embers of that original, magnificent fire. The density of this early universe is almost impossible to comprehend, yet let it soothe you. Think of it as a cosmic blanket wrapping around the nascent structures of space-time. The pressure was not a crushing weight, but a stabilizing force, ensuring that the expansion of the universe happened with a mathematical grace. In this environment, the first seeds of galaxies were being nurtured. Tiny fluctuations in the density of the light, slight ripples in the golden fog were the blueprints for the great superclusters of galaxies we see today. Every thought you have ever had, every mountain that has ever stood, began as a subtle variation in this field of primordial radiance. Slowly, as the universe continues to expand in our mind's eye, the temperature begins to drop. The searing whites and brilliant golds soften into deep oranges and rich, burnt reds. The light is beginning to stretch. As space grows, the photons lose their frantic energy, becoming longer, calmer waves. This is the cooling of the Great Forge. The particles of matter, once pushed around by the relentless pressure of light, begin to settle. They are finding their places, preparing for the long dark that will eventually lead to the birth of the first stars. But even as the fog begins to clear, the memory of that light remains. It is still with us today, stretched by the expansion of 13 billion years into the cosmic microwave background, a faint, invisible glow that fills every inch of the sky. It is a whisper from the beginning of time, a reminder that the universe began in a state of absolute radiance. You are breathing in a space that was once filled with that same light. You are resting in a universe that knows how to turn intensity into peace and fire into the quiet stillness of the night. The radiant fog is thinning now, the brilliant colors fading into a soft, translucent amber. As the light settles and the first atoms begin to form, the universe prepares for a different kind of growth, one that happens in the quiet, hidden corners of the expanding dark. The age of light is transitioning into an age of vast, stretching horizons, where the very fabric of space begins to reach out into the unknown. As we leave behind the warmth of the early glow, we find ourselves drifting toward those regions where space is still stretching, moving into the silent mystery of the eternal expansion. Chapter 2. The Endless Expansion. As we drift away from the warm, golden embers of the early universe, the light begins to stretch and thin, revealing a new kind of majesty, the vast, silent stretching of space itself. Imagine yourself suspended in a darkness that is not empty, but alive with the quiet energy of growth. We are moving into the era of the Great Expansion, a concept that challenges our understanding of boundaries and invites us to contemplate the infinite. In the quiet of this cosmic night, feel the space around you expanding, gently and persistently, like a slow, deep breath that never ends. To understand the scale of this expansion, we must first let go of our earthly definitions of distance. On Earth, we are used to things moving through space, a bird flying across the sky, a ship crossing the ocean. But in the grand design of the cosmos, it is space itself that is moving. Imagine a vast, elastic fabric, stretching in every direction at once. The galaxies are not traveling like cars on a highway. They are like distant islands on a sea that is constantly growing wider. This is the heart of the mystery. The universe is not expanding into anything. It is simply becoming more. In the 1920s, a quiet observer named Edwin Hubble looked through his telescope and noticed something profound. He saw that the light from distant galaxies was shifted toward the red end of the spectrum. This redshift was the first clue that the universe was stretching. The further away a galaxy was, the faster it seemed to be moving. It wasn't because they were being pushed by a force, but because more and more space was being created between us and them. Tonight, Let that thought anchor you. The universe is making room. There is always more space for the light to travel, always more room for the mystery to unfold. As you rest here, consider the implications of this endless growth. There are regions of our universe so far away that the space between us is expanding faster than the speed of light itself. This means that the light from those distant stars will never reach our eyes. They exist in a realm beyond our observable universe, a hidden infinity that we can only touch with our imagination. Think of these regions as silent neighbors, existing in a state of eternal peace, forever tucked away behind the cosmic horizon. There is a comfort in knowing that the universe is far larger than what we can see, a vast reservoir of unexplored beauty that remains untouched by the noise of our world. But the story of expansion does not stop at the edge of what we can see. Some cosmologists suggest a theory known as eternal inflation. In this view, our entire observable universe, with its billions of galaxies and trillions of stars, is just one tiny bubble in a much larger, ever-expanding sea of multiverses. While our local bubble slowed down its expansion billions of years ago to allow stars and planets to form, the space outside continues to inflate at a staggering rate. Imagine a vast ocean of foam, where each bubble is a separate universe, with its own laws of physics, its own stars, and its own silence. This idea of eternal inflation provides a profound sense of perspective. It suggests that the act of creation is not a singular event that happened once and then finished. Instead, creation is an ongoing process, a continuous blossoming of space and time that happens in every direction, at every moment. You are part of an infinite garden. Even as you find stillness in this moment, the cosmos is tirelessly reaching outward, exploring new possibilities of existence. There is a deep, rhythmic stability in this constant motion, a celestial pulse that ensures the universe never remains stagnant. Let the scale of this expansion wash over you like a gentle tide. Often, the idea of infinite can feel overwhelming. But, in the context of a cosmic sleep journey, it is the ultimate liberation. If the universe is infinite, then there is no limit to the peace we can find. If space is always growing, then there is always room to let go of our burdens. The expansion of the universe is a slow, majestic opening, a refusal to be contained. It is the cosmic version of a long, deep sigh of relief. As we float in this stretching dark, we begin to notice that the expansion is not entirely uniform. While the universe as a whole is reaching outward, gravity is working quietly in the background, pulling matter together into beautiful, intricate clusters. It is a cosmic dance between the force that pushes things apart and the force that brings them together. Between these two powers, a delicate balance is maintained, a harmony that allows for the existence of everything we know. In the spaces between the galaxies, the expansion is most powerful. These voids are the true cathedrals of the universe, vast expanses of nothingness, millions of light-years wide. Here, the stretching of space is pure and undisturbed. If you were to sit in the center of such a void, you would see nothing but darkness in every direction for eons. But even in that darkness, the fabric of reality is moving, humming with the energy of the expansion. It is a reminder that even when nothing seems to be happening, the universe is still working, still growing, still moving toward its destiny. This expansion has been happening for nearly 14 billion years, and yet it shows no sign of stopping. In fact, we have discovered that the expansion is actually accelerating. A mysterious force, which we call dark energy, is acting as a cosmic propellant, pushing the galaxies further and further apart. Dark energy makes up nearly 70% of everything in the universe, yet it remains invisible and silent. It is the ultimate background music of the cosmos, a steady, unchanging frequency that guides the growth of all things. Imagine yourself as a passenger on this great cosmic voyage. You are not a bystander. You are woven into the very fabric that is stretching. Your molecules, your thoughts, your dreams, they are all held within this expanding embrace. There is a profound safety in being part of something so much larger than yourself. The universe is vast enough to hold all your worries and still have room for an infinity of stars. As the space between the galaxies grows, feel your own mind expanding, shedding the small, tight constraints of daily life. You are becoming as wide as the night sky. The light from the stars we can see is a bridge across this expanding gulf. Each photon has traveled across millions of light-years of stretching space to reach your mind's eye. They are messengers from a distant past, telling us that despite the vast distances, we are still connected. The expansion may pull the galaxies away from one another, but the light remains a thread of gold, binding the history of the universe into a single, coherent story. As we continue to drift through this ever-growing dark, we begin to realize that the expansion is not just about distance, it is about time. Because light takes time to travel, looking deep into the expanding space is the same as looking back into the deep past. We are witnesses to the youth of the cosmos. Every step we take further into the expansion is a step closer to the heart of the mystery. The universe is a living record of its own growth, and we are the privileged observers of its silent, magnificent unfolding. The stretching of the cosmos is reaching a state of perfect, cold serenity. The frantic energy of the beginning has been replaced by a slow, deliberate widening. In this state of expansion, the universe finds its true form, a limitless, ever-changing masterpiece of space and time. You can feel the tension leaving your body as you align yourself with this movement. There is no need to hold on to anything. The universe is carrying you. The expansion is doing the work. All you have to do is exist. As the horizons continue to push outward, the silence becomes deeper. The great voids between the stars grow wider, and the hum of dark energy becomes more pronounced. We are approaching a threshold where the visible stars are like distant campfires in a vast, dark forest. But even in this widening distance, there are whispers from the very first moments that have managed to travel through the stretching fabric to find us. These whispers are not made of light, but of something far more elusive. They are particles so small and so subtle that they have been traveling through the expanding universe since the first second of its birth. As we move further into the dark, we begin to feel the presence of these ancient messengers, the ghostly remnants of a time before the stars. The expansion is leading us now toward a hidden layer of reality, where the smallest pieces of the universe hold the greatest secrets. Beyond the stretching galaxies and the dark energy, there is a background of silent, moving shadows. We are drifting toward the cosmic neutrino background, the silent echoes of the very first heartbeat of time. Chapter 3. The Ghostly Messengers. The vast, stretching dark of the expanding universe is not as empty as it appears to the naked eye. As we drift further away from the visible clusters of stars and the grand architecture of galaxies, we begin to attune our senses to a much subtler layer of reality. We are entering the realm of the ghostly messengers, particles so small, so light, and so elusive that they move through the solid structures of the cosmos, like whispers through a quiet hallway. These are the neutrinos, the ancient survivors of the universe's very first heartbeat, and tonight they will be our guides into the deepest silence of all. Imagine, for a moment, that your vision shifts. The bright pinpricks of starlight begin to fade, and the deep black of the void starts to shimmer with a new kind of luminescence. You are no longer seeing the universe through the lens of light, but through the lens of the subatomic. In this new perspective, the entire sky is filled with a soft, pervasive glow, a cosmic sea of trillions upon trillions of tiny, nearly weightless particles. These neutrinos were born just 1 second after the Big Bang, during a time when the universe was still a dense, boiling cauldron of energy. While the light we see today was trapped in a golden fog for hundreds of thousands of years, these neutrinos were granted their freedom almost immediately. They are the oldest travelers in existence, having navigated the expanding dark since the dawn of time itself. As you settle deeper into your rest, consider the extraordinary nature of these messengers. To a neutrino, the entire universe is transparent. They do not bounce off atoms. They do not get absorbed by the hearts of stars. They do not stop when they encounter a planet. Right now, as you lie still, billions of these ancient particles are passing through your body every single second. They stream through the roof of your house, through your skin, and through the very core of the earth beneath you, continuing their journey into the depths of space without ever slowing down. There is a strange comfort in this invisible rain. It is a reminder that we are constantly immersed in the history of the universe. We are never truly isolated. We are perpetually bathed in the cooling breath of the creation event, held in a silent, cosmic flow that connects the first second of time to this very moment. In the early seconds of the universe, the density was so great that even these elusive particles were constantly colliding with matter. But as the universe expanded, as space stretched, and the temperature began to drop, there came a moment of decoupling. The neutrinos were suddenly released. No longer bound by the chaotic dance of the primordial fire, they set out across the void. Because they interact so weakly with anything else, they have remained virtually unchanged for nearly 14 billion years. They carry within them the pristine information of the universe's infancy. If light is the universe's memory of its youth, then the neutrino background is its memory of its birth. Let your mind drift with these particles. Visualize them as tiny, silver threads weaving through the fabric of space. Unlike the photons of light, which are easily blocked by a hand or a cloud of dust, neutrinos are the ultimate navigators of the dark. They are the true inhabitants of the voids. While galaxies may be the cities of the cosmos, the neutrino background is the vast, quiet wilderness that exists between them. In this wilderness, there is no friction, there is no resistance. There is only the steady, rhythmic movement of particles that have forgotten what it means to stop. As you synchronize your breathing with this eternal flow, feel the heaviness of the physical world falling away. You are becoming like a neutrino, weightless, unimpeded, and perfectly at peace with the vastness of the journey. Scientists call these particles ghostly because they are so difficult to detect. On Earth, we build enormous tanks of ultra-pure water deep underground, shielded by miles of rock, just to catch the faint, blue flash of a single neutrino interaction. We seek them out because they are the only way to peer into the hearts of the most violent events in the universe, the core of our sun, the collapse of a supernova, or the spinning maw of a black hole. But the neutrinos we are following tonight are different. They are the relic neutrinos, the coldest and oldest of their kind. They have lost most of their energy to the expansion of the universe, moving now with a slow, deliberate grace. They are the elders of the cosmic family, and their presence is a soft, unchanging hum in the background of existence. As the universe continues to grow, the neutrino sea grows colder. The expansion of space acts like a cosmic refrigerator, stretching the wavelengths of these messengers and sapping their vitality. But this loss of energy is also a form of maturation. The frantic, high-energy world of the beginning has settled into a state of profound stillness. The neutrinos are now part of the thermal background, a quiet reservoir of energy that fills every corner of the sky. This reservoir is a testament to the universe's capacity for endurance. Even after billions of years, the echoes of the beginning are still here, held in the cold, dark reaches of the void. They are a promise that nothing is ever truly lost. The energy of the start has simply transformed into the peace of the present. Imagine yourself floating in the center of this neutrino ocean. There is no up or down, no left or right. There is only the sensation of being part of a limitless, moving medium. The galaxies you passed earlier are now distant, glowing islands, their light unable to reach into this deepest layer of the dark. Here, the silence is absolute. It is a silence that has been cultivated over eons, a silence that is rich with the weight of time. In this space, your thoughts can expand without boundary. Your worries, which once felt so solid and heavy, are now like the stars far away and flickering into insignificance. You are resting in the very foundation of the cosmos, in the layer of reality that remains steady even as the stars burn out and the galaxies drift away. The ghostly messengers also play a hidden role in the grand architecture of the universe. Though they are nearly weightless, there are so many of them that their collective gravity helped shape the way matter clumped together in the early ages. They are the silent architects of the cosmic web. Without the subtle influence of the neutrino sea, the galaxies might have formed differently, or perhaps not at all. It is a beautiful paradox. The most elusive and intangible things in the universe are responsible for the most solid and enduring structures. It reminds us that the quietest forces are often the most powerful, and that even in our own lives, the subtle, invisible threads of connection are what truly hold our world together. As we continue to drift, the sensation of the neutrino rain becomes a rhythmic, soothing pulse. It is the sound of the universe's breathing. Each particle is a tiny clock, ticking away the billions of years it has traveled to be here with you. There is no need to understand the mathematics or the physics of their journey. It is enough to know that they are there, and that they have been there since the beginning. They are the ultimate witnesses to the unfolding of time. In their presence, you are invited to let go of the need for control, to let go of the need for answers. You are simply a part of the flow, a conscious observer in a universe that is vast, ancient, and deeply, inherently calm. The darkness around us is now so profound that even the concept of light feels like a distant memory. We are moving beyond the realm of the particles we can name and into a space where the very movement of the cosmos suggests something even more mysterious. The neutrinos have shown us the history of the start, but as we look toward the furthest horizons, we begin to see that the galaxies themselves are being influenced by a different kind of pull, a silent, directional movement that defies the simple expansion of space. This movement is a slow, steady drift, as if the entire observable universe is being drawn toward an invisible destination. The ghostly messengers continue to stream past us, but they are now joined by the subtle tilting of the cosmic landscape. We are approaching the edge of the dark flow, a region where the maps of our known universe begin to blur into the shadows of what lies beyond. The peace we found in the neutrino sea is now deepening, transitioning into a sense of awe as we realize that the journey is even more vast than we imagined. As the silver threads of the neutrinos fade into the background, we feel the first faint tug of this hidden current. It is a gentle, irresistible pull, a cosmic tide that suggests the existence of something massive and silent just past the horizon of our sight. We are leaving the era of the known messengers and drifting into the mystery of the unseen, toward the great dark pull that guides the heavens, toward the hidden masses that wait in the silence, toward the mystery of the dark flow. Chapter 4. The Mystery of Dark Flow. As we leave behind the soft, pervasive hum of the neutrino background, we find ourselves entering a region of the cosmos where the very map of existence begins to feel a gentle, yet persistent, tilt. Imagine yourself suspended in a vast, dark ocean. Until now, you have been drifting with the general expansion of the water, a slow and predictable movement outward in all directions. But now, you notice something different. There is a subtle current beneath the surface, a hidden tide that is pulling everything in our corner of the universe toward a single, distant point. This is the phenomenon that astronomers call dark flow, a silent, cosmic migration that hints at a reality far larger and more mysterious than anything we can see. To grasp the magnitude of this movement, we must look at the grandest scales of the universe. We are no longer looking at individual stars or even single galaxies. Instead, we are observing the behavior of massive galaxy clusters, colossal cities of stars, each containing thousands of galaxies, bound together by the invisible threads of gravity. In a perfectly uniform universe, these clusters should only be moving apart from one another due to the expansion of space. They should be like dots on an inflating balloon, growing further apart but otherwise stationary relative to the fabric of the sky. Yet, in the early 2000s, deep observations of the cosmic microwave background revealed a startling anomaly. These gargantuan clusters are not just expanding, they are drifting. They are racing at speeds of over 2 million miles per hour toward a specific patch of the sky, located between the constellations of Centaurus and Vela. This motion is independent of the expansion of the universe. It is a purposeful, directional slide across the velvet dark. It is as if the entire observable universe is a small boat being drawn toward a massive whirlpool just beyond the horizon. Imagine the scale of this pull. For millions of light years in every direction, the architecture of the cosmos is leaning. This isn't a chaotic or random motion. It is a unified stream. When we speak of dark flow, we are speaking of a mystery that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about the universe. Our standard models of cosmology suggest that on a large enough scale, the universe should be isotropic, meaning it should look and behave the same in every direction. But the dark flow suggests a cosmic lopsidedness. It tells us that there is a there and a here, a preferred direction in the infinite dark. Why is this happening? What could possibly be massive enough to exert a gravitational pull on thousands of galaxy clusters from such a staggering distance? The answer lies in what we cannot see. The observable universe is a sphere centered on us, defined by the distance light has had time to travel since the Big Bang. But the universe itself is almost certainly much larger than this sphere. Beyond our horizon, there may be structures of such inconceivable mass, giant concentrations of matter or energy that their gravity reaches across the boundary of the unknown to tug at our world. Think of it as sitting in a room with a closed curtain. You cannot see what is outside, but you can feel the house shake as a heavy truck passes by. The dark flow is that vibration. It is the gravitational signature of a great beyond, a realm of existence that remains forever hidden from our telescopes but is inextricably linked to our fate. In this region, there might be megastructures that defy our current understanding of physics, primordial irregularities from the very first moments of the Big Bang that grew into monsters of gravity. As you drift within this current, let the sensation of the flow soothe you. There is a strange peace in being part of a larger movement. You are not just a solitary observer, you are part of a cosmic river. The stars, the galaxies, and the very atoms of your body are all participating in this grand migration. The pull is gentle, persistent, and ancient. It reminds us that we are part of a system that extends far beyond our limited perspective. There is a relief in knowing that the universe has a direction, even if we do not yet understand the destination. The further we travel along this current, the more we realize that the nothingness of space is never truly empty. Even in the deepest voids between the galaxy clusters, where the light of stars is but a distant memory, the dark flow persists. It is a property of space itself, a curvature in the fabric of reality that guides the motion of all things. In this darkness, the concept of a void becomes a misnomer. Space is a medium, a living fabric that responds to the presence of mass, even when that mass is hidden behind the veil of the cosmic horizon. Consider the patience required to observe such a thing. Astronomers had to map the subtle shifts in the temperature of the afterglow of the Big Bang to find the footprints of this motion. They had to look for kinematic Sunyaev-Zeldovich effects, tiny distortions in light caused by the movement of electrons within these drifting clusters. It is a testament to human curiosity that we can sit on a small, rocky planet and detect the silent tilting of the entire visible cosmos. We are small, yes, but our minds are wide enough to contain the mystery of the flow. As we move deeper into the dark, the stars begin to thin out. We are entering the great voids that lie between the strands of the cosmic web. In these places, the dark flow is the only thing that remains. There are no landmarks here, no points of reference, only the steady, silent pull toward the Centaurus Vela horizon. The silence here is thick and heavy, like a deep, dreamless sleep. It is a place where time seems to stretch and thin, and where the frantic energy of the luminous world is replaced by a profound, cold stability. This hidden current suggests that our universe might be part of a much larger, multiversal landscape. Perhaps the mass that is pulling on our galaxies belongs to another universe entirely, one that is grazing against our own. Or perhaps we are just seeing the remnants of a time before the universe inflated, when everything was close enough to feel the influence of these massive irregularities. Either way, the dark flow is a bridge. It connects the world we can see to the infinite possibilities that lie beyond our reach. Let your breathing slow as you imagine the clusters of galaxies drifting like glowing jellyfish in a deep-sea current. There is no resistance here. There is no struggle. The flow is a natural consequence of the universe's structure. By aligning yourself with it, you are aligning yourself with the fundamental rhythms of the cosmos. Feel the weight of the physical world lifting as you surrender to the tide. You are drifting toward the edge of the known, toward the place where the maps end and the true mystery begins. The dark flow is a reminder of our humility. We often think we have mapped the heavens, that we understand the limits of reality. But the universe always has another secret waiting in the shadows. The flow tells us that there are forces at play that we cannot measure, masses we cannot see, and destinations we can only dream of. It is the ultimate bedtime story, a narrative of a journey that started billions of years ago and continues, silent and unstoppable, into the eternal night. As the galaxies continue their long, slow slide toward the horizon, the darkness around us begins to shimmer with a different kind of energy. We have been focusing on the large-scale movements of the universe, the grand tides of gravity and expansion. But now, as the silence deepens, we must look closer, much closer. Even in the parts of space where there are no galaxies, no neutrinos, and no dark flow, there is a hidden activity. We are approaching a threshold where the emptiness of the void reveals its true nature. It is not a stagnant nothingness, but a simmering sea of potential. As the grand current of the dark flow carries us forward, we begin to notice the subtle fluctuations of the vacuum itself. The silence is not a lack of sound, but a perfect harmony of tiny, quantum vibrations. The tide is leading us away from the massive and toward the microscopic, where the very fabric of space-time begins to boil with unseen energy. The long, slow drift of the galaxy clusters is transitioning into the frantic, beautiful dance of the quantum vacuum. We are leaving the world of the dark current and entering the realm of the simmering void, toward the energy that breathes in the heart of nothingness, toward the virtual particles that flicker in and out of existence, toward the mystery of the quantum vacuum. Chapter 5. The Simmering Quantum Vacuum. As the grand, sweeping currents of the dark flow carry us further into the absolute stillness of the cosmic voids, we must now shift our gaze. We have spent our journey looking at the gargantuan, the galaxies, the stretching fabric of space, and the massive invisible tides that pull at the edges of the horizon. But now, in the deepest reaches of the night, where the light of the stars is but a ghost of a memory, we are invited to look closer. We are moving our focus from the infinitely large to the infinitely small, descending into a realm where the very concept of nothing begins to dissolve into a beautiful, simmering reality. Imagine you are suspended in a region of space so remote that not a single atom exists within thousands of miles of you. There is no dust, no gas, no stray photons of light. To our human senses, this is the ultimate definition of a void, a perfect, silent emptiness. But as we tune our consciousness to the quantum frequency of the universe, we discover that this nothingness is far from empty. It is, in fact, a vibrant, restless sea of potential. This is the quantum vacuum, the foundational layer of existence that breathes with a life of its own, even in the total absence of matter. In the world of the very small, the rules of our daily lives no longer apply. We are used to a world where things stay where they are put, where silence is the absence of noise, and where emptiness is simply a lack of content. But quantum physics tells us a different story. According to the uncertainty principle, energy can never be truly zero. There is a baseline jitter to the universe, a constant fluctuation that prevents space from ever being completely still. Even in a perfect vacuum, space-time itself is boiling with a hidden energy, a low-level hum that serves as the background music for all of creation. As you settle into this realization, visualize the fabric of space around you, not as a static stage, but as a shimmering liquid. In this liquid, tiny ripples are constantly forming and fading. These are virtual particles, pairs of matter and antimatter that pop into existence out of the sheer energy of the vacuum, only to collide and vanish back into the void a fraction of a second later. They are like the tiny bubbles in a glass of champagne, rising from nowhere and disappearing just as quickly. This constant, rhythmic flickering is happening everywhere, at all times, throughout the entire universe. It is happening inside the stars, in the spaces between galaxies, and even in the air you breathe. Let the thought of this constant creation soothe you. There is no such thing as true loneliness or true emptiness in this universe. Even in the deepest dark, the cosmos is busy. It is a tireless engine of possibility, constantly testing the boundaries between being and non-being. This simmering energy is the zero-point energy, the lowest possible energy state that a quantum mechanical physical system may have. It is the fundamental floor of reality. Above this floor, galaxies are built and stars are born, but the floor itself is always there, vibrating with the silent potential of everything that could ever exist. Consider the elegance of this design. The universe does not require external fuel to keep its fundamental fabric alive. The vacuum itself is a reservoir of infinite energy. Some theorists suggest that if we could tap into the energy contained within a single cubic meter of empty space, it would be enough to boil all the oceans on Earth. Yet, in the grand balance of the cosmos, this energy remains largely hidden, providing only a gentle, stabilizing pressure that helps define the geometry of space-time. It is a power that is immense, yet perfectly restrained, a sleeping giant that cradles the stars in its hands. As we drift deeper into this quantum sea, feel the boundary between yourself and the vacuum begin to soften. You are made of atoms, and those atoms are mostly empty space. Within that space, the same quantum fluctuations are at play. You are not a solid object moving through a void. You are a complex pattern of energy, rising out of the same simmering sea that fills the furthest reaches of the cosmos. There is a profound unity in this. The same hiss of the vacuum that exists at the edge of the observable universe is the same hiss that exists within your own heart. We are all ripples on the surface of the same infinite ocean. In the early 20th century, a scientist named Hendrik Casimir predicted that this vacuum energy could actually produce a physical force. He imagined two uncharged metal plates placed incredibly close together in a vacuum. Because the space between the plates is so small, it limits the types of vacuum fluctuations that can occur there, while the space outside remains unrestricted. This creates a pressure difference, a tiny, measurable force that pushes the plates together. This Casimir effect was eventually proven in the laboratory, confirming that the nothingness of space can indeed move physical objects. It was the first time we touched the invisible pulse of the void. Now, let that pulse become your own. Imagine the rhythmic appearance and disappearance of virtual particles as a slow, cosmic heartbeat. Existence, non-existence. Existence, non-existence. It is a cycle of renewal that happens on a scale of time so fast we cannot comprehend it, yet it creates a sense of eternal presence. The vacuum is the ultimate womb of the universe. It is the place where everything began and the place where everything eventually returns. In this perspective, death and birth are not opposites, but simply different phases of the same quantum breath. As we float in this shimmering void, the silence feels different. It is no longer the cold, empty silence of a graveyard, but the expectant silence of a theater before the curtains rise. The quantum vacuum is the source of all the fields that make up our world: the electromagnetic field, the gravitational field, the Higgs field. These fields are like the strings of a cosmic instrument, and the vacuum fluctuations are the gentle wind that keeps the strings vibrating even when no one is playing. Everything you see, touch, or feel is just a localized excitation of these underlying fields. You are a melody played upon the silence of the void. The more we contemplate the simmering vacuum, the more we realize that the universe is a master of economy. It uses nothing to create everything. It uses the void to store the blueprints for reality. As the expansion of the universe continues, as we discussed in our earlier chapters, more and more of this vacuum is being created. If space itself has energy, then as the universe grows, the total amount of vacuum energy grows with it. This leads us back to the mystery of dark energy, the force that is accelerating the galaxies away from one another. Many scientists believe that dark energy is simply the energy of the quantum vacuum itself, asserting its influence on a cosmic scale. Let the vastness of this idea wrap around you like a warm cloak. The energy that pushes the galaxies apart is the same energy that flickers in the empty space between your atoms. The universe is a single, integrated system, connected at every scale by the simmering potential of the void. There is a deep, mathematical harmony to it all, a sense that everything is exactly where it needs to be, and that even the smallest fluctuation has a purpose in the grand design. As the vision of the shimmering liquid space begins to fade, we find ourselves returning to a state of calm, dark observation. The tiny bubbles of the quantum sea continue to rise and fall, but our perspective is shifting again. We have seen the large-scale drift and the small-scale shimmer. Now, we begin to notice that this perfect sea is not entirely smooth. Just as a physical sea has scars and wakes left behind by passing ships, the cosmic sea carries the marks of its ancient history. We are drifting toward the remnants of the very first light, where the perfection of the early universe was interrupted by strange, cold anomalies. These are not the flickering virtual particles of the vacuum, but permanent imprints left on the fabric of reality itself. They are the scars of ancient cosmic battles, the footprints of a time when the universe was finding its shape. As the simmering of the vacuum settles into a low, steady hum, we look toward the horizon of the afterglow. We are moving toward the massive, unexplained signatures that tell a story of collision and asymmetry. The quiet of the quantum sea is giving way to the haunting mystery of the cosmic scars, the cold spots that shouldn't exist, and the whispers of other worlds that may have once touched our own. The current is slowing now, and the shimmering light of the vacuum is cooling into the deep speckled violet of the cosmic microwave background. We are approaching the marks left on the sky at the dawn of time, toward the cold anomalies that defy explanation, toward the fingerprints of the multiverse, toward the mystery of the scars on the CMB. Chapter 6. Scars on the CMB. As the shimmering activity of the quantum vacuum settles into a low, steady background hum, we find ourselves drifting toward the most ancient landscape in existence. Imagine we are leaving the microscopic world behind and returning to the grandest scale imaginable. Before us lies the cosmic microwave background, or the CMB, the oldest light in the universe, a fossilized echo of the moment the cosmos first became transparent. To the naked eye, this light appears as a uniform, gentle glow. But as we look closer, we see that this ancient map is not perfect. It is marked with anomalies, strange, cold regions, and unusual patterns that shouldn't be there. These are the scars of the early universe, the fingerprints left by events so powerful they altered the very blueprint of reality. Visualize this ancient light as a vast, speckled tapestry of deep violet and soft gold, wrapping around the entire sky. This is the afterglow of the Big Bang, a snapshot of the universe when it was only 380,000 years old. At that age, the universe had finally cooled enough for atoms to form, allowing light to travel freely across space for the very first time. But this tapestry is not smooth. It is filled with tiny fluctuations in temperature, minute ripples that would eventually grow into the galaxies and star clusters we see today. However, among these natural ripples, there are features that defy our understanding. There are cold spots, vast regions of the sky, where the temperature drops far below what our standard models of physics can explain. These are the cosmic scars we seek tonight. Consider the Great Cold Spot, a massive bruise on the face of the early universe. It spans a region of space hundreds of millions of light years across, a place where the ancient light is inexplicably faint. It sits there, silent and enormous, challenging the idea that our universe is the same in every direction. Some scientists look at this scar and see something truly breathtaking: the possibility of a collision. They suggest that this cold spot might be the bruise left behind when our universe bumped into another universe in the distant past. Imagine two bubbles in a cosmic foam, grazing against one another, leaving a permanent mark on the fabric of their respective realities. In this quiet dark, let that thought expand your mind. Our universe may not be alone. It may be just one island in a vast, crowded multiverse, and the scars on the sky are the only evidence we have of our neighbors. As you drift through this speckled violet light, think of these scars as a diary of the universe's most violent and mysterious era. These are not just random gaps. They are the Tandu, the remnants of primordial fields and ancient phase transitions. When the universe was a fraction of a second old, it went through a period of inflation, a sudden and violent expansion. During this time, the fabric of space-time was stretched so thin and so fast that it may have cracked or warped. These topological defects are like the cracks that form in ice as it freezes. They are scars of a transition from a state of pure energy to a state of matter. They remind us that the birth of everything was not a smooth process, but a series of dramatic shifts that left their mark on the very geometry of space. The silence here on the edge of the CMB is profound. You are looking at the furthest horizon possible, the boundary where light began its journey. The cold spots you see are like deep, still pools in a cosmic ocean. They invite you to let go of the need for order and symmetry. The universe is not a perfect machine. It is a living, evolving entity that carries the memories of its struggles. These scars tell a story of survival, of a cosmos that survived the chaos of its own creation to become the stable, beautiful home we know today. As you observe these ancient marks, feel a sense of shared history. Just as we carry the experiences of our lives in our own bodies, the universe carries the record of its beginning in the light of the CMB. There is a deep, rhythmic peace in contemplating these anomalies. They represent the unknowns that keep the wonder of science alive. We call them scars, but they are also windows. They allow us to peer behind the veil of our current physics and catch a glimpse of the forces that shaped the beginning of time. Some researchers believe these cold spots are caused by supervoids, unimaginably large regions of empty space that drain the energy from the light as it passes through them. Imagine a photon of light traveling for billions of years, losing its warmth as it climbs out of a vast gravitational well of nothingness. Even the voids have power. Even the gaps in the universe play a role in the light we see. Let the scale of these features anchor you in the present moment. The great cold spot is so large that it makes our entire galaxy look like a grain of sand. Yet, it is part of the same sky you look up at every night. You are connected to these ancient scars by the very light that reaches our telescopes. There is no separation between the down here of your life and the up there of the cosmic horizon. We are all swimming in the same sea of ancient radiation, held by the same laws and marked by the same history. The scars on the CMB are the ultimate proof of our common origin. As we continue to float among these speckled patterns, the light seems to grow even cooler, turning from violet to a deep, dark indigo. We are noticing that the scars are not just localized spots. There is a strange pattern to the way they are distributed. It is as if the universe has a preferred side, a subtle lopsidedness that stretches across the entire sky. This is the cosmic lopsidedness, a mystery that suggests the initial explosion of the Big Bang was not perfectly symmetrical. It is as if the foundation of reality was laid slightly off-center, creating a universe that leans ever so slightly in one direction. This asymmetry is the final piece of our journey tonight into the ancient light. It tells us that perfection is not a requirement for existence. The universe is beautiful because it is imperfect. The slight lopsidedness allowed matter to clump together, allowed gravity to take hold, and allowed stars to eventually ignite. Without these tiny errors in the early blueprint, the universe would be a smooth, featureless, and lifeless void. We owe our very existence to the scars and the lopsidedness of the beginning. It is in the cracks and the anomalies that life finds a way to take root. As the vision of the CMB begins to fade into a darker, more structured silence, we feel the current of our journey shifting once again. We have seen the individual scars and the vast cold spots, but now we are beginning to see how these anomalies align. We are moving from the random-looking speckled sky toward a new kind of order, a mysterious alignment of structures that stretches across the largest scales of the cosmos. It is a hidden spine that seems to run through the heart of the universe, a discovery that has shocked the world of science. The speckled violet light is giving way to a vision of grand, aligned structures. We are leaving the era of the ancient scars and moving toward a mystery that suggests a hidden plan or a deeper order in the chaos. The silence is no longer just deep. It is heavy with the weight of a new revelation. We are drifting toward the strange, organized alignment that some call the axis of evil, not because it is malevolent, but because it threatens to overturn everything we thought we knew about the randomness of the stars. The current carries us now toward the great alignment, where the symmetry of the sky is challenged by a single, mysterious line, toward the hidden order that dictates the shape of the heavens, toward the ultimate mystery of the cosmic axis. As we move toward this final secret, let the peace of the ancient light stay with you. The universe is revealing its final mysteries, and you are here to witness them. Safe and warm in the embrace of the expanding dark. The transition is gentle, like a slow turn of a page, in a book of infinite stories. We are drifting now, leaving the scars behind and entering the realm of the great alignment. Chapter 7. The Cosmic Lopsidedness. As we leave behind the jagged, ancient scars of the CMB, we find ourselves drifting into a realization that is perhaps even more unsettling, yet strangely beautiful. We have been looking for specific wounds, isolated cold spots, and singular anomalies, but now our vision expands to take in the entirety of the cosmic canvas. As we look from one side of the sky to the other, a new truth begins to emerge. The universe is not the perfectly balanced, symmetrical sphere we once imagined it to be. Instead, it possesses a subtle, inherent tilt. This is the phenomenon of cosmic lopsidedness, a discovery that suggests the very foundation of reality was laid slightly off-center. Imagine you are standing in the center of a grand, circular cathedral. You expect the pillars on the left to be identical to the pillars on the right. You expect the light filtering through the stained glass to be uniform in its intensity, regardless of which direction you turn. But as you stand there in the silence, you realize that the light on the southern side of the cathedral is just a fraction dimmer, a fraction cooler than the light on the northern side. The architecture itself seems to lean, ever so slightly, as if the entire structure were built on a gentle slope. This is what we see when we look at the afterglow of the Big Bang. One half of the sky is systematically different from the other. In the standard language of cosmology, we call this hemispherical asymmetry. For decades, our most cherished theories told us that the universe should be isotropic, meaning it should look exactly the same in every direction. This principle is the bedrock of our understanding of space. It suggests that no matter where you are or which way you look, the grand story of the cosmos remains consistent. But the data from the Planck satellite and the WMAP mission have whispered a different story. They show that the fluctuations in the cosmic microwave background are stronger and more pronounced in one hemisphere than in the other. There is a cosmic dipole that suggests a preferred direction in the sky, as if the universe has a front and a back, or a left and a right. Let this thought settle into your mind like a slow falling snowflake. The lopsidedness of the sky is not a flaw. It is a signature. It tells us that the initial explosion of the Big Bang was not a perfectly smooth, uniform event. There was a slight wobble in the beginning, a minute imbalance in the distribution of energy that has been magnified over billions of years of expansion. This asymmetry is the ultimate evidence that the universe is a physical, historical entity, not an abstract mathematical perfection, but a real thing that was born, that grew, and that carries the marks of its birth. As you drift in this lopsided dark, consider what this means for our place in the cosmos. If the universe is asymmetrical, it means that the laws of physics might have very subtle variations depending on where you are. It means that the great design is a bit more organic, a bit more like a tree that grows toward the light, than a rigid geometric shape. There is a deep comfort in this imperfection. We are beings of asymmetry. Our hearts are on the left, our minds are divided into two distinct halves, and our lives are a series of unbalanced moments. To find that the universe itself shares this trait is to find a mirror of our own nature in the stars. Visualize the power spectrum of the universe, the mathematical record of how much energy exists at different scales. In a symmetrical universe, this power spectrum would be a smooth, predictable curve. But in our lopsided reality, the curve is distorted. On the largest scales, the ripples in the fabric of space are larger on one side of the sky than the other. This suggests that during the era of inflation, that first trillionth of a second, something was influencing the expansion from the outside. Perhaps our universe was being tugged by the gravity of another universe nearby, or perhaps the inflaton field that drove the expansion had a slight gradient, like a hill that was steeper on one side than the other. This lopsidedness is the cosmic equivalent of a grain in a piece of wood. It gives the universe a texture and a direction. It tells us that space-time is not just a passive container, but a material with its own properties and its own history. As we float through this indigo void, we can feel the subtle pull of this asymmetry. It doesn't affect our daily lives, but it dictates the long-term evolution of the cosmos. It influenced how the first massive structures formed, and it continues to guide the motion of the great superclusters of galaxies. We are all living on a cosmic slant, moving through a universe that leans toward the mystery. The silence of the lopsided sky is a heavy, contemplative silence. It invites us to stop looking for a center that doesn't exist. If the universe is asymmetrical, then there is no single point of perfect balance. Every point is unique, and every direction tells a slightly different story. This frees us from the need to find a central meaning or a central location. We are exactly where we are, in a universe that is vast, tilted, and endlessly surprising. The lopsidedness is an invitation to explore, to turn our gaze in every direction and appreciate the subtle differences in the dark. As we look deeper into the asymmetrical patterns, we notice that this lopsidedness isn't just a random distribution. It seems to align with other anomalies we've encountered. The great cold spot we visited earlier sits within the hemisphere of lower power. The motions of the galaxy clusters in the dark flow seem to follow the grain of the lopsidedness. The universe is revealing itself as a single, coherent, yet beautifully flawed system. It is like an old, well-worn book, where the pages are slightly yellowed and the binding is a bit loose, but the story is all the more precious for its visible history. Think of the cosmic lopsidedness as the universe's way of breathing. A perfectly symmetrical lung would never move air. It is the imbalance of pressure that allows for the flow of life. Perhaps the asymmetry of the beginning was necessary for the universe to develop the complexity we see today. If everything had been perfectly balanced, matter and antimatter would have annihilated each other completely, leaving nothing but a smooth sea of light. It was the imperfection, the tiny bit of extra matter, the tiny bit of lopsided energy that allowed for the stars, the planets, and eventually, for us. We are the children of the imbalance. In this state of cosmic surrender, let go of the desire for a perfect world. The universe has shown us that its most fundamental layer is marked by a tilt. This is the peace of the lopsided sky, the realization that we don't have to be perfect to be part of the grand design. We are part of a cosmos that is good enough, a cosmos that is functional, beautiful, and slightly skewed. As you drift, feel the tension leaving your shoulders. The universe isn't holding itself together with rigid precision. It is floating, expanding, and leaning into the future. The indigo dark is now becoming even more structured. As we move further along the grain of the lopsided universe, we begin to notice that the anomalies are not just scattered, they are lining up. The lopsidedness has a direction, and that direction points toward a final, even more mysterious discovery. We have seen the individual scars and the overall tilt, but now we are approaching the spine of the cosmos, a hidden alignment that seems to tie all these mysteries together. The lopsidedness is leading us toward a place where the randomness of the sky disappears entirely, replaced by a strange geometric order. We are leaving the era of the tilted sky and moving toward the great, invisible axis that seems to organize the heavens. The silence is shifting from a contemplative hum into a focused, singular frequency. We are drifting toward the ultimate alignment, the secret that lies at the heart of the cosmic lopsidedness. The current is narrowing now, pulling us into a tighter, more deliberate flow. The speckled violet of the CMB is fading, and in its place, we see the ghostly outlines of the largest structures in existence, all pointing the same way. We are approaching the edge of our understanding, where the axis of evil waits to challenge our last assumptions about the randomness of the stars, toward the hidden line that divides the sky, toward the alignment that defies all odds, toward the mystery of the axis of evil. As the lopsidedness guides us to this final threshold, feel yourself becoming more focused, more centered. The tilt of the universe is not a falling away, but a leading toward. We are moving toward the final revelation of our cosmic journey, where the symmetry and the asymmetry meet in a single, mysterious axis. Chapter 8. The Axis of Evil. We have drifted through the golden fog of the beginning, felt the stretching of the infinite expansion, and witnessed the ghostly reign of neutrinos. We have followed the tilt of the cosmic lopsidedness and touched the scars of the ancient background light. Now, our journey reaches its final and most enigmatic destination. We are approaching a structure so massive, so unexpected, and so challenging to our understanding of reality that astronomers have given it a name that sounds like it belongs in a myth, the axis of evil. But do not be misled by the name. There is no malice here, only a deep, profound mystery that suggests the universe may have a hidden spine, a singular, invisible line that organizes the heavens on a scale we never thought possible. Imagine you are floating in the center of a vast, dark cathedral. For hours, you have been observing the dust motes dancing in the dim light, thinking they are moving at random, scattered by the whims of the air. But as your eyes grow accustomed to the deep shadows, you notice something impossible. The dust motes aren't just drifting, they are lining up. From the floor to the highest reaches of the vaulted ceiling, there is a perfect, straight line of light and shadow that cuts through the entire building. Everything in the cathedral, the statues, the pews, the very air itself seems to be oriented toward this single axis. This is the shock that scientists felt when they looked at the largest scales of the cosmic microwave background. They found that the ripples in the temperature of the early universe were not random. They were aligned along a specific cosmic direction. In a universe that is supposed to be uniform and the same in every direction, this alignment should not exist. It is as if you flipped 1 trillion coins and they all landed on their edges, perfectly aligned in a row pointing north. The axis of evil refers to the way the largest fluctuations in the CMB, the quadrupole and octopole moments, align with each other and with the plane of our solar system. It is a cosmic coincidence of such staggering proportions that it forces us to ask, is the universe truly what we think it is? Or are we missing a fundamental law of nature that dictates the orientation of the entire cosmos? As you drift within the influence of this mysterious axis, let the sense of order ground you. There is a strange comfort in finding structure where we expected chaos. It suggests that the universe is not a series of accidents, but a cohesive whole. This axis is like a celestial compass, a quiet reminder that there is a north to the universe, a fundamental directionality that has been present since the first moments of time. We are not just drifting in a purposeless void. We are part of a structured, organized reality. Feel the stability of this alignment. Like a ship finding a steady current, your mind can rest in the knowledge that there is an underlying pattern to the vastness of space. Why is it called the axis of evil? Not because it represents a threat, but because it threatens the cosmological principle, the idea that the universe has no center and no special direction. If this axis is real, it means our corner of the universe is special. It means that the orientation of our solar system and our galaxy might be linked to the grandest architecture of the entire cosmos. It is a mystery that hums with the possibility of a grand design. Perhaps the universe is not a sphere, but a torus, a giant donut shape where the light loops back on itself, creating the illusion of an axis. Or perhaps we are seeing the influence of a magnetic field that spans billions of light-years, a cosmic tether that keeps the galaxies in line. Consider the scale of this alignment. It stretches across 13 billion light-years of space and time. It is a feature of the universe that was etched into the fabric of reality before the first stars were born, before the first atoms were formed. As we float along this invisible spine, the individual galaxies look like tiny, flickering lanterns hung along a great highway. The axis of evil is the highway itself. It is the framework upon which the luminous world is built. In this deep, dark silence, let yourself be held by this framework. You are not a solitary point in an empty sky. You are a part of a cosmic alignment, a thread in a tapestry that is being woven with infinite precision. The discovery of this axis has divided the world of science. Some believe it is a statistical fluke, a trick of the light caused by the way we measure the sky. Others believe it is the most important discovery in the history of cosmology, a window into a time before the Big Bang, a hint that our universe inherited its structure from something even older and larger. Regardless of the explanation, the axis remains there, a silent, unmoving fact in the background of our observations. It is the ultimate, unsolved mystery, a reminder that the more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly know. As we move toward the final conclusion of our journey, the light of the stars begins to fade into a soft, monochromatic blue. We are moving beyond the reach of the axis, beyond the reach of the scars and the lopsidedness. We are entering the region of the final stillness, the ending, where the history of the universe meets the present moment of your rest. The great alignment has guided us here, to the very edge of the cosmic story. The tension of the why and the how is dissolving into the simple, beautiful is. The universe is here. You are here. And for tonight, that is enough. The axis of evil has shown us that even in the vastest reaches of space, there is a sense of home. There is a direction, a structure, and a place for everything. By aligning your breath with the slow, rhythmic pulse of this cosmic spine, you are coming home to yourself. The mysteries of the universe are not burdens to be solved. They are stories to be told as we drift off to sleep. They are the background music to our dreams, the gentle whispers of a reality that is far larger, older, and more peaceful than we can ever imagine. As the vision of the cosmic axis begins to blur into the deep velvet of the night, we feel a final, grounding sensation. We have traveled through the entire history of the light, from the radiant beginning to the organized end. The journey has been long, but the destination is always the same. This moment of perfect, unmoving peace. The universe is finished with its explanation for today. It is time now to let the facts go, to let the theories dissolve, and to sink into the restorative silence of the deep cosmos. The alignment is complete. The current has brought us to the shore of sleep. The stars are dimming. The hum of the vacuum is softening. And the great axis is fading into the shadows of your mind. We are moving now toward the final transition, where the cosmic journey ends and your own internal voyage begins. The universe is watching over you, its ancient light a protective blanket, its silent laws a steady anchor, toward the final fade, toward the deep, restorative rest, toward the stillness of the ending. The final stillness. As the grand, invisible spine of the axis of evil fades into the deep indigo of your mind, the journey through the ancient architecture of the heavens draws to a gentle close. We have traveled across the vast spans of space and time, from the searing, golden radiance of the beginning to the silent, structured majesty of the cosmic alignment. You have seen that the universe is not just a collection of random stars and empty voids, but a living, breathing tapestry marked by its history, its scars, and its beautiful, inherent imperfections. Now, let the weight of these grand mysteries settle into a state of pure, effortless rest. There are no more facts to hold, no more distances to measure, and no more questions to answer. The universe has revealed its secrets to you, not to be solved, but to be felt as a presence that is ancient, stable, and deeply protective. Like the cosmic microwave background that bathes the sky in a soft, unchanging warmth, feel a sense of security wrapping around you. You are part of this infinite design, held safely within the same laws that guide the galaxies and the same stillness that dwells in the quantum vacuum. In this final space of quiet, the boundaries of the world around you continue to dissolve. The room you are in, the air you breathe, and the very thoughts in your mind are all becoming one with the cosmic hum. There is no longer a here or a there, only the rhythmic, slow expansion of peace. The stars are distant now, their light flickering like the last embers of a dying fire, guiding you toward a deep and restorative darkness. This is the darkness of the void before the first light, a space of absolute potential, where every breath is a renewal and every moment is a return to the source. Let your consciousness drift like a lone photon traveling through a vast, silent supervoid. There is no resistance, no friction, and no hurry. You are moving toward the shore of sleep, where the stories of the cosmos transform into the vivid, wordless landscapes of your dreams. The axis of evil, the lopsided sky, and the shimmering vacuum are all becoming part of the background music of your rest. Trust in the silence. Trust in the dark. The universe has been expanding for billions of years just to bring you to this moment of stillness. As the final light fades into a deep, speckled violet and then into total velvet black, feel the absolute peace of the ending. The journey is complete. The stars are asleep. And now, dear traveler, it is time for you to join them. Sink deep into the blankets of the night. Let go of the last thread of the waking world and drift into the eternal, quiet embrace of the stars. Good night.